Hi there and welcome to Her Standards with me, Queen Tambori. Karibu sana. Thank you so much for keeping it here every Saturday, 4 p.m. on KTN Home. Imagine bado tuko Laikipia and we are actually at the Mpala Research Center, and joining me for this particular episode is one woman that you need to know. Now, before I introduce her, I just want to tell you something briefly about this show. You know, we are the link with the outside world and with you, our dear viewer, with the specific women you need to follow their lifestyle, the women who are transforming lives, women who are doing amazing things for themselves, women who are yet to be discovered. Now, this particular one, I can assure you, I stalked her. She's on Twitter, and you need to know her. She is none other than Nelly Palmeris. A little bit about her, because I would really like her to introduce herself, is that she is, one, a woman in wildlife conservation, but besides that, she is the Deputy Director and Chief Operations Officer at Mpala Research Center. Chief of Operations Officer is the CEO. So what does she do? She leads the management team and is in charge of all operations at Mpala. We'll be able to get that, more about that in a short while. Before I introduce her, please allow me to tell you a bit about Mpala Research and what they do. Well, it was established in 1994, and it is at the core of the Ewasonyiro ecosystem. I would really like to carry on, but then again, the Mpala property is located on the Laikipia Plateau. We traveled all the way to Nairobi, and it was amazing. It's grown to be over 48,000 acres, so that is quite huge. What happens at Mpala is that it is a hub for experimental and manipulative research by visiting scientists and students. In short, it provides a living laboratory without the restrictions of a national park. Allow me to end there, because I would like our guest to break that down for us. What exactly happens at Mpala? Nelly, karibu sana.
Asante sana.
How are you?
You.
Good to meet you.
Welcome to Mpala.
You see, the picture I have of you is you wearing the fatigue, the military fatigue. I thought you were going to show up looking like that.
I've worn it for the last 18 years.
Really?
Yeah, so
you just took a break.
Yes.
But you're in jungle colors. I think wildlife is in your heart.
I think I'm transformed.
Yeah. Awesome.
I can't get far from this color.
Awesome. Please tell our viewers who you are, briefly. Mm-hmm.
My name is Nelly Palmeris, and I am a mother. I am a conservationist. I am a leader where I am. I have a lot of passion for wildlife management. Yeah. This was really born from when I was a young person. I think in primary school I was able to join wildlife clubs of Kenya, being part of co-curriculum then. Yeah. And I think a seed was placed in me then to love wildlife. And so where I am today, I know that I blossomed from that seed from primary school. But majorly first to not go far from there, just to say that I am working currently at Mpala. Yeah. And since I left my campus education, I have been working in this field. So I don't know any other job. Just do wildlife management.
You only know how to handle wildlife.
Yes. For the last 18 years, I've worked within a state parastatal in wildlife service. And just last year I took a break to come on the private sector to an NGO, but still doing wildlife. So it tells you what that did to me. Yeah. I am the, as you say, chief operations. Yeah. Mine is just to ensure that the wheels are rolling. Every day, day-to-day operation, wheels are rolling. The issues staff are addressed, issues welfare are seen, the research that should happen in Mpala, because we exist for research. We exist for the science. Just to ensure that day-to-day science rolls. So those are the wheels I check every day, that the finances are available at the right places, that the resources are there for the people, that the people are motivated, they know what they are doing, that they are guided, and that we are able to, again, that 48,000 acres provided, that living laboratory, that it is here, it's live, it's robust, and that every day someone is doing something to add to the knowledge of science and to add to the information that we need to conserve Kenya. So yes, that is my work.
That's her work. Yes. Yeah, earlier on I caught up with Nelly, and there's a joke that she actually cracked about the creation of the world and wildlife and her connection to the wild. And this is what she said, that on day one God created.
Yeah, I said if you believe in the biblical,
yeah,
creation story.
The creation story.
You know that God created man and woman. Yeah. God created the earth and the heavens. God created the wildlife and all the livestock. And God said, go have dominion. So I
take
told
charge.
You my career is the first career. That's divine career, first career.
First
before
career.
You came to report about what I'm doing, so I was there before you. In terms of career. So it's linked, and I tell you, when you do this job, then you get so passionate. It's almost like, preaching or something like that. It gets to you spiritually.
It's personal, like it's connection.
It's so yes, and you have that connection. I have worked in areas where we took care of rhinos and elephants, and you see rangers go out every day and they identify with these lions, with these rhinos. They give them names, like family. And if they lose one or one is sick, you can see from their reaction and their feeling. It's family. So it's that passionate. Yes.
It's passionate. Quite powerful, Nelly, but not as powerful as that picture that I found on Twitter of you and the former First Lady of United States, Melania Trump. How many people actually get to hang out with the sitting First Lady of United States? Tell me about it.
I worked in a prime park called Nairobi National Park. Nairobi National Park is a showcase of Kenya. Every person visiting, every VIP visiting, if you want to show them what Kenya has, you must take them to Nairobi National Park. Especially the very VIPs who don't have a lot of time, to venture out. If they want to see wildlife, if they just want to see culture, if they want to see a lot of things, our heritage, that is the shop window at which we showcase Kenya. So I was lucky to be the senior warden of that park. And while I was there for 6 or so years, I was privileged, I would say, to guide a lot of VIPs through the park. And it was such an experience just to see that sometimes we take granted, for what we have. We think it's normal to see lions roaming around a city until you see someone coming and they can almost shed tears just to see that wildlife. Then you realize what you have is precious. And it gives us, the motivation to ensure then that we continue to conserve. Because, again, they said, it is what we have borrowed from the generation that comes after us. So we must ensure that we get it to them in a safe and sound. Because those who came before us ensured that we saw it. So it's precious. Whether it's in Nairobi National Park, whether it is in Laikipia, roaming, whether it is Samburu, Marsabit, wherever it is, conservation is a core, and conservation is what drives mankind. It is what drives tourism, it is what drives agriculture, it is what drives any development in any country. And so we must ensure that the habitats and the wildlife are actually protected. Yes.
So you have that picture somewhere framed?
Yes, I do. Yes, I'm privileged. There was a lot of security around it. It had to be vetted, and they had to reduce the people. So I had to sit alone just with her in the car and a few Secret Service. In fact, the car was ours, but they had to drive it, and the security was around it. And when we went around everywhere, no one could join us. So it was just me and her, and it was very impactful for me to just be able to give that story to her. And just share as a woman also, I felt good that I could be in that space to also represent women, to say yes, we can do it, and yes, we did.
You're one very special lady, one very humble lady, because I can tell you for free, if any of us got the chance to do that, oh my God, social media would have lit up, would have been on fire. So I think that really tells a lot about you. And to respond to that, I realize that the former president of the United States actually did send a comment on that tweet, and he said, you guys, if you find time, go and see those things, they're beautiful. Do you think that Kenyans actually appreciate what we have here in terms of our domestic heritage? I don't know, do we? Do we do enough? Do we practice enough domestic tourism? Because I know there are people who have never left their, what would I call, the circumference of the places that they live in. They don't travel. And to think that other people actually travel miles, they save for years to just come here and see an elephant. Why is it not a big deal for us?
For a long time, I would say tourism was seen as, a foreign thing. Yes, you had to learn a GKI for you to pay, park fees, for you to go to these spaces, for you to enjoy this wildlife, and these beautiful spaces, scenic, and much more that Kenya offers. But I would say that is a bit changing. It's really changing in that we've started to see a bit of local tourists now. We get to see people get out, and this comes along with what happens with the younger generation, because they are more exposed, they are more, see through social media everywhere. They see these nice places, and I think they get their parents out because they have to be taken, out on a weekend for them to enjoy these spaces. But I would say that much more is needed. We saw a bit of shift when we had COVID, because people are so much indoors that when they had to break somewhere, it had
we had to wait until we have no option.
You had to break from the house and you had to get somewhere. And the place that is not crowded, it's not a mall, it's not, these busy places. The best place to go was actually to the park. And people realize that when you get there, you're quite, in tune with nature. Something happens to you.
You can say that again.
It's a beautiful place. It rejuvenates you in a very special way. And you start to get connected. You see this wildlife. Then you see a few, vehicles pass you, and it's people who had to apply for visas to come, and then it clicks on you that actually this is yours. Wildlife in Kenya actually belongs to people. They're all held by the state, in trust for them. So then you start to have that connection. Then you realize then it is good, because the way we have known wildlife is knowing wildlife from the negative perspective. There is a human wildlife conflict. When I worked in Nairobi National Park when we had a lion breakout.
I remember that story.
On Langata Road, it was on Mombasa Road, and that is, when news traveled, because something had happened that wasn't right. But again, on the flip side, some came back to the park to see the lions, and actually some were asking, do you mean we have lions in the park? So yes, we need more awareness, we need more people.
We need more disruption. I'm kidding.
Yes, people can get out there, but yes, there are lovely species, lovely places. Actually, most of this country, there are very good rates for citizens to enjoy this. They're not charged, at the rate of the non-residents. So a lot has been done through the government and other parties to really market this. And I hoped Kenyans would get out there and enjoy this. It's theirs.
Meskia, Tembea Kenya. Tembea Kenya. There's so many national heritages we need to visit. Some actually just lying in your backyard. So just get to do a bit of work and enjoy what we have. Other people are paying to, to come and enjoy them. Nelly, uko social media?
Yes.
Nelly,
at Nelly Palmeris.
At Nelly Palmeris. On which socials?
Facebook and Twitter.
Facebook and Twitter. Okay, so you can talk to our guests on social media at Nelly Palmeris on Facebook and social media. You can also talk to KTN Home, who is our host. You can also talk to me at Queen Tambori on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. Apparently, I'm on TikTok too. You can also talk to Madam Producer, who is called Grace Waweru. Why do you need to talk to Grace Waweru? Is because you need to tell her about the women we need to have on this platform. As you can see, we have traveled all the way to from Nairobi to Laikipia, so we can come to you where you are. So don't hesitate, hit us up. Do you have a question for Nelly Palmeris? I hope I got it right.
Yes.
Yes, if you have a question for Nelly Palmeris, please don't hesitate to type it in the comment section. Let us engage with you. We would like to hear what you think about the show. If you have any question, you have a daughter, son who is aspiring to join wildlife and conservation, and you're hitting a dead wall, I think this is the show for you. Nelly, you've talked about human and animal coexistence. What do you think is the best formula? Because I've heard of horror stories actually, where elephants have attacked humans. Some are even fatal. We've lost lives. to that kind of conflict. How do you think, how can we get along with these animals? Because someone once said that without humans, wildlife don't exist, and without wildlife, humans don't exist. We need each other. Yeah. How can we do that?
It is quite a complicated matter in that we all exist on the same space. We have the same space, and for anything, this space has never changed in terms of the land mass. It is exactly what Kenya was, when it was mapped. It is what it is today. But a few other things have changed. Human population has spiraled in terms of growth. Wildlife, there's been a lot of effort to ensure that the population doesn't decline. So for most, it has been stable. For some, there is a good gradual growth. We have livestock and our livelihoods, especially like in Laikipia area. Livestock is our livelihood. It's our bank, It's what we keep us to get us to school, to take care of all our issues that we need in terms of meeting our costs. And so all these dynamics that we talk still exist on that land that has never changed. What it means is that there's more interaction now than there were before. So the areas of interface has increased. The same river that is used by the livestock, used by the communities to get the water, is the same one used by the elephants and the lions to get the water. So a lot of interaction then means there's more of the conflict. But I think the government has done it in ensuring that then we move from just looking at this as a conflict and start thinking about how we coexist. So that it is human-wildlife coexistence, not human-wildlife conflict. Yes. So in coexistence, it means then we have to do just a few things to ensure that we can coexist. And that is why like Mpala exists. We exist because we generate that kind of data to say, in these areas where there's conflict, what can be done, so that data comes back to the policymakers and they're able to say, are there areas to open? Are there corridors that still exist for them to migrate so that, they're not hitting a dead end and, causing the injury that you're talking about? Is it about the population and issues of, carrying capacity? Are there niches that needs to be? Are there areas that are critical for this, wildlife? When we do our planning, like for example, the county government is doing their spatial planning and all that. Are they putting this in data to use so that they know which area is zoned for settlement and which area is zoned for agriculture and crop, which area is left for wildlife? Because again, if you went and put settlement around a corridor, that's
what do you expect?
Yes, brewing. So it is that data that now things have to be thought in, not in terms of quantity anymore, but in terms of quality. So the space that we have, what can get to which area, what can be used for what, so that when we put that into all our policies, our own guidelines, our own plans, and our own implementations, then we are able to coexist. Because there's nowhere we will shoot all the animals and stay alone. And there's nowhere we will all go and leave the
animals alone.
Yes, and there's nowhere we will lose our livelihoods, which are livestock. So all of us just have to
somehow.
I guess sometimes it's normal for us as human beings when you have a home, you have a children, or you have roommates, where some other schedule is different, some schedule. So you have to agree and say, who turns off the lights? Who, closes the tap after they've done? Who cleans up the kitchen? Because you must have those kind of, rules and boundaries. It's exactly what you just have to do on a bigger platform for the landscape. So no one is leaving. All of us are here. Wildlife, livestock. But we have to rethink about just how we do it. And Mpala really proud to be part of that change by just providing the data that is needed, having these questions used by researchers who are coming in, and having those questions now drive them to collect data that can help us, to bring a solution, because we want to be part of the solution.
No one is leaving. I think that's my takeout. No one is leaving. We are living together. We are staying together through thick and thin, but we have to figure out how to get along. Nelly, your industry, wildlife and conservation, of course, many other industries that exist. I would say in terms of personnel, if you look at the gender parity, you realize that there are more men than women, and understandably so. when we were coming in yesterday from Nairobi, and we met this beautiful lady at the gate. She was very, very welcoming, actually. We came in a little late. So lots of questions were going in my mind, like, okay, so what happened? What about her? What happens? Why is she safe? If that was my child, are they safe to, you know, to work in an environment where they're surrounded by wildlife? How is that environment, especially for women, the wildlife and conservation? Is it friendly? And if not, what measures are being put in place to ensure that, I mean, we create an enabling environment for these women, so that at the end of the day, we don't say that, because there's this thing that is said that there's some careers that are not meant for women, and I don't believe so. Yeah, so how is that environment for women in wildlife? Yeah.
Thank you for that question, because it's a question that lingers. It also lingered even when I was joining.
Yeah.
Probably my parents weren't sure, I mean, that's the job you want.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm sure they're feeling the way you're feeling.
Yeah.
And am I safe? You're going to balance me well and all this. Again, it's because all protected areas, all conservancies, all wildlife areas are in the very remote.
Yeah.
You know, even if you talk about Nairobi National Park, it's not in CBD.
No, it's not.
Somewhere off. So all these areas are the remnant in very remote areas. So first thing that you know is that you're bringing in a woman to work here. You must know that this woman is also a sister. This woman is a community, is part of a community. This woman is a wife. This woman is a mother. You know, it's everything. It's 5 in 1. Not that men are not, but in a way, I mean, for the woman, it's real and very real in that sense. So I know it's challenging because when you see them work, it is challenging because they have to balance life. It's about work-life balance that they really have to balance, because in an African setting, you know, the more roles from home are actually the mother's role.
Yeah.
You nurture your baby. Yeah.
You carry on.
Ensure, yes, you ensure they have food, you ensure you know, you get all the resources, you ensure they are in school, they ensure, yes, the men will do, the men will support, but most of the things that are done physically and requiring your time is actually from the ladies. So when you see them come to work, you must have that, you know, behind, you know, your mind when you see them at work. But again, I must start by saying that these women, like the one you saw at the gate, don't work feeling they are lesser than the man. They work with a lot of passion, with a lot of standards, with a lot, you know, so that you don't see them as half men. They are as full as a man and even smarter sometimes, I would say. They really work hard because they are very resilient. They are very resilient beings because they nurture at home. They know also how to nurture when it comes to issues. Conservation. They're very patient, and two, they speak out and they're able to balance themselves. But when it comes to work now, we sit down and we are able to know, with that in mind, to know that you must also be deliberate as an employer to see how do I balance them off? How do I ensure that they're able to nurture their families? Because if their families are not healthy and good and, you know, having a good relationship solid, they will not be able to, you know, give you good performance at work. So you must ensure that all their work and all their lives are concurrently, you know, moving at a good speed. So what we do mostly is to ensure that when we deploy, we deploy at a more friendlier, let me use the word friendlier for a lack of word, the more friendlier, you know, areas where they are able to, like for example, if they are nursing their baby, they're able to go home and nurse and come back to work. If they have offs, you have to, you know, arrange for them in a way that it's not like, you know, a day off and back, because you know they would need to go and do something at home and come back. So again, we arrange like that, not in a way to make them feel like they're being pampered, no, but in a way that we are being supportive. I think the word here is supportive, so that they work. But if you ask them, I have asked them, just like the way others asked me, given another chance, would you still want to be here? Or would you want to be in hospitality or something that looks classy and okay and friendlier? They still want to be here. because of their connection to what they do, and they feel they have an impact, they feel they have a difference, they are bringing in society. They feel that the work they're doing is, something that adds value, to mankind, and they still feel connected. So many of them say, no, that's what I want to be. So if you ask them, I have an opening in the project, would you want to live there and come? No. So they wear their uniforms, but they wear them so proudly, knowing what they do, and they salute you and smile. It is not something that they just put because of you, because they've seen you, but it's coming from deep down because they are proud of what they are, and they know that they are going places. So we need them, and we need more of them.
Okay.
Yeah. So we try, when we employ all the time, that we have more women also, because it makes life easier.
True.
But when we have the more challenging operations and in very difficult area, we try to balance them off so that we have more men again, because we have every duty and every job that we have has to balance off too. Yes.
True. They say that teaching is a calling, but I think I'm learning here today that also working with wildlife is also a calling. This is Her Standards with me, Queen Tamburi. I'm joined by Nelly, who is the COO at Mpala Research Center. And the show, of course, is Her Standards. We want to take a tiny break. We have some bills to pay. When we come back, we get to know more about Nelly. The second name? Palmeris. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Her Standards with me, Queen Tamburi. And whether Nelly likes it or not, she has to tell us welcome back in Maasai. She is not escaping. So Nelly?
Welcome back.
I can't believe you did that to me. But it is okay. Nitakupata. I'll get hold of you. This is the show where you get to meet the women that obviously we think you need to know. And today we have one of them. She is none other than Nelly Palmeris. She is the COO at Mpala Research Center. Mpala is actually Impala without the I. And shortly Nelly will tell us why it's Mpala and not Impala. Remember, you can hit us up on social media at Queen Tamburi, Nelly Palmeris, Grace Waweru. We are available at KTN Home, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, but also you can find me on all those platforms. And of course, you can also find me on Twitter, LinkedIn. Our guest is available on Facebook and Twitter. So please do not hesitate to throw in those comments, the questions. We are here and we'll be able to respond to them. Without further ado, karibu sana Nelly, umekata kutuambia welcome back in Maasai. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Kitale town, actually.
Oh.
Kitale is in Trans Nzoia.
Kitale iko huko?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes, Kitale, Trans Nzoia.
Okay.
Yes, another cosmopolitan country. And don't ask me how I ended up in wildlife management, because you don't seem to know many parks or something in Kitale.
That is, I mean, I'm trying to put the pieces together, and I'm having a hard time. No, break it down for me.
Yeah. I grew up in Kitale, and I would say my break with wildlife conservation happened actually after high school. Because I told you I was in wildlife clubs of Kenya. That was just cool as a kid to see, to be involved in an activity and co-curriculum that was talking about conservation and everything. Probably I didn't quite understand much at that point, because I think a lot was to do with planting trees and visiting parks where we could, but at a very low scale. But my break happened after high school, because after high school, when I was going to university, I really wanted to do economics. Believe it or not, I was very good in mathematics. All through primary, all through high school, I was a champion in maths. So always when just looking at economics, my big brother is an accountant, so I really wanted to do economics. And so when I got my letter to join university, my letter, then they would cluster you and put you in a course. You would report to university. And if you really didn't like your course, you had a window to change. You remember through the joint admission board, you could change. So in my letter came home, it said natural resource management.
Okay.
I didn't understand what it was. Resource management was for an economist that I thought I was.
Yeah.
Also, my parents, they quite, but they agreed with me that, okay, you go, if you really want to do that, you go to school, you go change, use the window and change. So I went to Egerton University, and as I started off, I saw that it started to become interesting because one of the courses was actually on field trips. So we could go to these parks, go to Nairobi National Park then, I don't know. We could go to Serengeti, in Tanzania. I could see these people in uniform with their guns, looking very, macho with what they were doing, and I thought it was interesting at that point. So I lingered on to the course.
Okay.
But again, I started to feel more in place with it, and I loved it more, and I forgot about the story
of mathematics and economics.
Yes, so I ended up pursuing it, and in third year, when you had to choose your option, I did wildlife management. So at that point, I quite didn't, it just came in. I didn't quite work so hard to get into it, but I rolled into it. So when I finished the course, after the 4 years, I had a window of 1 year when I did a bit of internships here at the National Museums of Kenya, just trying to see then how to grow my career from there. Then at that point is when KWS, Kenya Wildlife Service, needed management trainees because they wanted to fill in their middle managers. So I went in for, for the recruitment. We were 40 of us who were lucky to get that. And we went in for paramilitary training. So we went in, asked me about my uniform.
Yes,
I had to go for a training for 8 years. And why we had to train like that, even in management, is that you are coming back to manage, the rangers and everyone else. So you really needed to understand, all that.
The dynamics.
So I went in for training, and after training, I started as an assistant warden. So I was in Savo, you've heard of Savo.
Yes,
I worked in Savo National Park. I worked in Nairobi National Park, and I grew in ranks then. And by the time I went to Hell's Gate National Park, now I was the senior warden in charge of the park. Very beautiful place, unique challenges. Hell's Gate remains as some very good touch for me, and because of what we did there with the communities. If you had one more time, there was a wheelbarrow race. It was started when I was the senior warden at Hell's Gate. And this was an event that was bringing everybody around, the communities and the flower farms and the industry together to have an education awareness for them to know what challenges we have and to be part of us. And then it was a fun
hangout,
event, but at the same time we could raise a few funds for conservation education. Then I really have those memories because somebody actually nominated me for an award, and I was a finalist to the 40 under 40.
Wow!
Yes.
Wow! Congratulations!
So that was something very, very good for me.
Close to your heart.
Yes. And so I went back to Nairobi National Park as a senior warden for 6 years. Managing a city, urban park is not easy. You have so many stakeholders, there are national development and projects coming up, balancing to ensure that your lands are not on the streets or, or out in the community with the predation, just ensuring you balance from the very local community to the urban community and all the enthusiasts and the friends of the park, just to ensure that everybody contributed and felt that they have a seat at the table. Managing the park was something that I felt was quite impactful in my life. After that, I grew to manage now a region. So I manage the region between Kiambu, Machakos, Makueni, and Kajiado all the way to Namanga. That is Amboseli National Park. And then went to the coast region also, where I did from Kwale to Lamu. You know, Kiunga to Lungalunga, the 5 counties there. And yes, I was there for a year before now I flipped back to Laikipia. Yes. So from government parastatal now I came to Laikipia. This is different and good, but still conservation.
It's still conservation. You have refused to leave.
No. So just the fact that I could see, you know, lots of science coming out of this, and exactly what I had explained to you before, and seeing the connection again to my other life on the other side. This was, you know, very something exciting for me to be here in this landscape again, and to see then how do we still work to, you know, collaborate with the other side. You, in your introduction, you said that in this Mpala, you can do a lot of manipulative research. What it means that in protected area, you're limited to what you can manipulate, because you see a lot of signs when you go in, like almost don't leave anything, don't, because you're supposed to leave it as natural as possible. When you come here, you can now manipulate. So you can decide to, you know, fence off an area, see how this happens to that. Yes. So coming back here and having had the experience on the other side, I feel adds value in how can we collaborate and how can this information help the other side. And so we work together with this organization. IFA Kenya Wildlife Service sits on the board of Mpala. So we still join.
You still, I think you still joined. You're not running away.
The lions,
it's an excellent.
That's how we exist.
It's the same thing.
And that's what excites me.
Oh,
Yes.
how was it? How was the transition for you from? Would I call that government or civil service to NGOs? How was that for you?
The transition was real, and first have been in KWS for a very long time. So when you transition again, it's, you know, you feel like a part of you is there and a part of you comes with you. But eventually you again, as I say, because it's a connection, you feel like, yes, you didn't lose, you're still around with it. But again, it's very exciting here because I also feel there's a lot of impact I can do. You know, government has a lot of probably, it's a smaller, I would say maybe probably a smaller organization, and an organization again that I feel you can do much more, and you can, you know, bring change quickly, because, you know, the spectrum of decision making is very short and easy to, so there is a good there and there's a good here. I mean, my life is just in between these two, and it makes it very good. So transition was real, but good, because I feel, I'm at the right place. And for me, I think for me, the bottom line is that I'm still in conservation, that I haven't moved. I think it would be very difficult for me
if you move to a different industry,
to a different career, I think my heart
say economics.
Economics, no, maybe in conservation.
Or the train already left. Anyway, Nelly, you know, one of the reasons we have this show is actually to motivate women, inspire women, although we've been receiving a lot of feedback from men. Hi, boy child. And we love it because I've been interacting a lot with women, and one of the women I met recently is actually Honorable Sarah Korare, and she said, usisikie vibaya when women are being empowered, because when a woman is empowered, you can be rest assured that everyone, man, boy, everyone will be inspired. But that aside, you grew through the ranks at KWS, and even your current position, I can only imagine the growth, the challenges. So what is it that keeps you going? How do you manage to stay resilient? What is it that other women can learn from you?
One lesson of life that I have probably that keeps me where I am today is a lesson I learned from my own father. Where I was born in my family, we are a relatively large family. But my dad taught us that there was no job for a woman and there was no job for a man. So in our home, we all went to the kitchen. Even the men cooked together with the girls. And when it was time to go to the shamba, we all went to the shamba. So I grew knowing that what I can do, what my brother can do, I can do. Yeah. So that kept me going in a way that I did not look for somebody to have sympathy on me. I did not look for somebody to give me a lesser duty. I did not look for somebody to think, I couldn't make it. I wanted to be as smart as the next guy around me, or even much smarter than them. So that keeps me going in a way that I know nothing is new on earth. It has been done and it can be done. It is the same thing that motivates me in terms of just focusing on life to see that what is it that drives you. Again, I think the urge to have change and to bring change, not just to be a passers-by, to know Nelly was here, Nelly left. What is that you left? What's your footprint like? What is that you've added? What value do you have in life? Whom have you motivated? So in my life, even when I joined KWS and even when I'm here, I am very, very keen on seeing other women and mentoring them, because mentorship is everything.
Yeah.
I was also mentored, in my career, the way I have said, it looked like it was easy, but there are people who encouraged me. Okay. There are women who were there before me who told me, okay, it's about baby. You will still get your baby and you'll be back to work. It is okay. You can balance it this way. Okay, it is this transfer that is stressing you. This is how you can balance it. You can manage your family like that and you can move it like this. Or it is this. Mine was even worse. So, it's that encouragement of another woman. Yeah. Which made me, because you see, if you are resistant, like for example, for change or to move, then you don't grow.
True.
Yeah, so you must be flexible to it. But it's not easy if another woman is not holding your hand. Okay. So even where I sit today, I always want to look at women around me to see who is that woman who needs that word to say, yes, you can do it. I see you. You're focused. You're on it and you can make it. Where do you want to be supported? Or just being there for someone to feel that, yes, if they're having a bad day, somebody can tell them, no, don't lose focus. This is it. So mentorship is everything, and it's what women need. It's what the young, people are coming up with a lot of, challenges around this career are having, that they need a voice from somebody who's been there before to, keep them going and keep them moving. Because I see even here at Mpala, I see one thing that I was very excited when I came is seeing that the researchers and the people working here are not just people from foreign countries. There is a deliberate move and, plan, a strategy to bring in more, local researchers here, which has really grown from 2015. But just from the local, just leave local alone. There are women, young women who are here, who are, heading projects. If you come there, the Vulture and Guinea Fowl, the Zebra Project, are held by women, and they're doing excellent job. So it's just saying that, yes, women can do it, women can be in science, and they can do it. But then it helps others to grow in it. As I told you before when we chatted, that we now even bring children from schools, girls from around the schools to come and spend time, with some of these over the weekend or something. And they're able to go out with these women to see what they do. It's somebody a Kenyan like you, somebody you can connect, and you see them doing an amazing job, pursuing their PhD. It makes you feel like, okay, then I can do it. So it's that mentorship, it's that connection, it's that exposure, it's that, will to ensure that we deliberately ensure no one is left behind. I think that drives me. No one should be left behind.
No one should be left behind. As some politicians will say, we will leave no stone unturned. Even on her standards, we have to exhaust all our questions to Nelly. We are not leaving anything behind, including the question that our mutual friend sent me to ask you. Nelly and I have a mutual friend. If you want to know more about it, you'll probably have to go to our social media handles. We won't say who it is, but we are definitely going to share his question. This is what he said. At least I gave a clue. It's a he. He said, Nelly, what is the link between, and I think I am paraphrasing, the link between conservation and gender-based violence?
Wow, what a tough one. That's a very tough one. But I would go back to, I think, an answer a discussion we've had about just where we work. Conservation needs a lot of commitment. So even in our work, you need a lot of commitment. Look now, what time is it that we are here? So if somebody is waiting at home and they don't understand what I do, and that sometimes it calls for longer hours and that, it can bring in, some issues in the family, especially if you're not able to balance your family. So where there is, I say we deliberately ensure that we have work-life balance. So where we don't have work-life balance, I'm sure that gender-based
balance might happen.
It might happen. And two, again, is just where we are, how we do our job, even the male-dominated job, and stress sometimes can come in because of areas that we operate from and other factors around. I feel then if those are not managed well, it can get to that level. I had in Nairobi one time when people said, "Sikuji nyumbani, the lions are out." Could you imagine that probably there were some problems? The following day when they went home after the lion, probably tell my friend maybe that could have happened. I don't know, maybe he was beaten. Didn't go home
because lions were on the streets. Let me tell you this, descendants of Abraham and Adam, any flimsy, I mean, they'll do anything to escape some responsibilities, including when we recently lost the chairman of anaitwa nani? Men conference. May he rest in peace. Tuliambiwa watu wameenda matanga. So, these guys, you cannot trust them. Nelly, hatuna time mingi sana, but of course we have to finish everything. Young girls watching this show today who have this perception that, wildlife and conservation is risky. I mean, they say, sisi hatutaki kazi mingi. Or did you tell them? Is it something that they can take up?
I would tell them that I was younger one time. And probably I was at their level when I was thinking, which is this beautiful career. Because sometimes we love titles, we love, careers with swag. Yeah. But then I have been here now, I'm not young anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't leave. What kept me here? It is because this career is very fulfilling. As we said, it's career number one.
Number one,
it's very fulfilling. It is, it keeps all your passion into it. You can see the difference and you can know that you're holding humanity by your hand if you do the right thing. So it's something that I feel is a good career. It's where more people should be in. And so as we grow up, as we think about being a pilot and being an engineer, which is good, very good, as we think about hospitality and everything, we need more seats at the table of conservation because, again, it's a very wide kind of career, and whichever angle you take, you will find fulfillment. You will know that you're bringing change in this country, and you will not be part of those complaining when things don't go well. You will be part of the solution. Again, as I said when we started, this is one that touches, every sector. So we are the center of it, we are the core. So we need more people at the core. I would really encourage them that it is a good career. Don't fear to be in the bush. Don't fear to feel, you will stumble on snakes or anything. We have lived here. We are good. We are happy. Oh, how did you see me? We good. So just choose this career. It's a good career. And I'm telling you, you never leave. Just like I've never left. Yeah.
Cool. If you're not doing anything related to wildlife, what else do you do to keep yourself grounded?
Yes, I love to cook a lot. I'm a good cook. I love to travel. I also love just connecting with people because that way you learn more. You understand what's going on in the society. You impact, and again you influence, because we need to influence a generation that is pro-conservation and a generation that supports the world that way. So I really love engaging, especially with the young ones, because I feel all the things we are doing now belong to them.
True.
So we must have that baton.
True.
Soon
Yeah.
ready for them to
I
take
think
off.
I think it's important to have that succession plan. Do you feel like umefika? You have arrived? Amabado, you still have a distance to cover. Yeah.
No one reaches. We still have more ceilings to break. We still have more ceilings to break, yes. But I feel for me, it's more fulfilling if we lift more women. Even if those coming after us come to break more ceilings, the better for us. The only thing is that we have to be that shoulder that moves up there. So yes, we're growing every day, and we have to do better in what we do. It's not yet done until it is done.
Until it's done. I think that's where we are ending the show kwa sababu sitaki kuongeza anything on top of that. Our guest for today, Nelly, says it's not yet done until it is done. Of course, this has been her standards. I have really, honestly enjoyed your company and of course that of my guest. Thank you for keeping it here every Saturday, 4 p.m. on KTN Home. We are all about positive vibes, inspiration, female role models, because we do not want to hear you say that we do not have enough female role models. Today, we brought a leading woman in wildlife and conservation. Hit us up on social media. We would like to get to hear more from you. Talk to us, give us your feedback. We are available at KTN Home, Quintambori, Grace Waweru on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. This is the point where we say kwaheri. Thank you so much. My guest has refused to say kwaheri. Welcome back in Masai, I think.
Ole sere.
Ole?
Ashele. Ole sere. Ashele.
Bye for now.